Hey again everybody, Cidious StarCraft here for another StarCraft 2 commentary. Posting this map because there's some entertainment value, but also because it's comedic in a sense. Just because this guy is a complete moron, and he actually accuses me of map hacking at one point. So what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to actually do a first-person view to show exactly what's going on at all times. So I don't know, off the start I didn't know what he was doing and why he's trying to say this shit. I wonder if he's trying to get in my head or something. I don't know really. Odd exactly what he's doing there, regardless. As you can see, my APM's about 108, his is at 20 or 38, so you know, I'm doing a lot better. He's focused on typing and starting shit and starting some type of conversation there. I'm not really sure exactly what's going on there, but and then of course he starts with shit talking right there. So let's go back to there. As you can see, my probe is getting into his base to do a little bit of scouting over there. I'm just seeing exactly what's going down. He's not walling off. But this is, I forgot to say, this map is Shattered Temple. The guy I'm playing against is a Diamond player. Probably one of the shittier Diamond players I've played. Especially considering the fact that he's not actually going to worry about playing better. He's just going to talk a lot of shit and start a lot of shit throughout the game. So I do come in here, try to attack this SCV, do end up getting him to cancel the barracks. But unfortunately my SCV, I don't turn him around in time, and he does get taken out. But that delayed the barracks at least a few seconds. So one less Marine to worry about earlier on. As you can see, I am getting a gas. My first gas right as the gateway is about halfway there, and I'm sending that probe back out to try to do a little bit more scouting to see any type of thing I might be able to there, and we can go from there later on. Now, while it's getting underway, though, I will say that some news. Unfortunately, I have one more match in the GSPA tournament qualifying round. I believe I should have a good enough score to actually go to the next round. I might not. Because there are two master players that have pretty good scores, so we'll see if that happens or not. If not, no worries. Tournament scene was kind of fun, so I did highly enjoy all that, regardless of what happens. Secondly, I have been buying a lot of equipment and stuff in terms of for my gameplay footage. I've actually got some things so I can now, instead of playing my little laptop here, I'm connected to my 52-inch plasma, so definitely makes gameplay a lot better in that regard. And I also just recently bought a Dazzle recording device, which actually allows me to record my PS3 and 360 games, so in the not too distant future you'll see some of those being posted as well. Because like I said, I mean, StarCraft is my love, but also I'm a high gamer when it comes to other things, so I like to you know, have some of those footage up there because, you know, I want to diversify my channel as opposed to not having it just about StarCraft. Looking at the production tab, it does appear that he is getting concussive shells, which is a must for Marauders, and Marauders do just awesome against cosplayers, so very good to have there. As you can see, my very first unit I pop out is a Sentry. I got my gas fairly early just so I can do that. And now, as you can see, I have 4 gates down, so I can 4-gate it. Warp gate technology is about, I don't know, 20 seconds away. Probably about 40 seconds actually away. Aside from a chrono boost, so maybe 20, because that'll cut it a lot. And you know, once that gets out, then I'll be able to produce some units a lot faster. Army size, he's way ahead of me, 31 of 26. Harvester count, though, I'm ahead of him, 22 of 20, so I'll definitely be able to produce much faster in that regard. Go back to the army size here. It does appear that I did catch up a lot, because again, keep in mind now, I do have 4 gates going to his 3. And I'm doing a pretty good job spending my money, keeping it fairly low for the most part. I'm going to drop another sentry just so that I have 3 sentries out, so worry about the force fields. And I do see, of course, get a glimpse of his units here. So I'm going to force field before he actually gets up here, so he can't see anything or do any type of damage to me. And of course there are my stalkers to help attack. And then he just assumes that I'm doing a Void Ray build, which I just, again, started laughing in that regard. Because, no, I'm not going to do a Void Ray build when the direct path between us, if you look at the mini-back, is a linear path. I mean, that's the most direct path, you know. If he spawned over from this side, I could do Void Rays. I might do Void Rays, just because it's a short air distance between the two places. Excuse me there. But I'm going to start moving out. I do have, I think, 4 sentries here, 3 sentries, and a handful of stalkers. I'm just going to try to put a little early pressure. I'm not going to try to actually engage too much. I do, of course, see the Marines up there. I kind of wanted to pick those guys off. I do get a couple shots in, and I ended up picking that SUV off because he thought I was going Void Rays. Another thing that I do, too, is I also see the expansion here. Now, seeing the expansion here, I do know something that he's eventually going to expand. So I definitely have to be careful of that. But at the same time, I'm trying to micro back a little bit. SUVs, I wanted to force field the SUVs there, but got a little too far away from my units. But saw the expansion there, so I know he's going to try to do some type of expansion before too long. I want to try to keep him in his base long enough to get my own going, because with that extra expansion he has, he can double produce the amount of SUVs he's got. But it doesn't look like he's doing a good job at it. I mean, I'm at 26 harvesters, and for the most part, my Chrono Boost was only spent at the beginning using for workers. Now, of course, I'm going to peek up here a little bit. Looks like he is deciding to drop down a bunker. And he's got a lot of units, and I'm losing a couple stalkers, but honestly, I'm not that worried about it. I got my expansion going down. I want him to feel kind of nervous, feel like he's behind, and feel like an attack is coming that, you know, he can't prepare for. So that's all I'm doing, is getting more units. I'm losing one here or there. It's not really a big deal. And I'm just trying to bide my time down until, of course, that I get my expansion up and going. And then I'll go back to defend it. Of course, being Terran, or going up against a Terran player, I said, I do assume that at some point he's going to do some type of drop play. He's going to drop in some medvacs and drop some Marauders or some Marines inside my base. So you always got to keep that in the back of your mind, hence why I actually put a pylon right down here. You see it on the mini-map, but I'll show you back again when I actually get back to the base. And keep the vision as much as you can of your base so you can be prepared in case something does happen. Of course, another wave of stalkers and 1 sentry do warp in here. And I'm doing pretty good. I got army supply of 65 to his 53. Harvester count is also higher by 4. So I'm definitely doing much better there. I don't know exactly what he's building at this point because I do not have an observer. I do send 1 stalker out to the top portion of his base. Now, this is what he starts calling me a hacker and stuff. Okay, here's my line of thinking. Okay, I saw the expansion here, right? I blocked him off from building expansion here. He was wary about doing it. If he dropped it down here, he'd probably have to lift it off anyways. So I figured, hey, he might fly his expansion over here because the flight distance between these 2 bases is very close. So it only makes sense that since he has an expansion, to go ahead and fly it over here. Hence why I sent 1 stalker. I didn't send my whole army. If I sent my whole army, that would definitely prove that I am hacking. I sent 1 stalker over there to see exactly what's going on. Plus, you know, be careful with all that. Now, I do have the stalker to attack a lot of his units here. And there he goes to call me a map hacker. At this point, though, I know he's going to try to save the SUV, so I'm going to try to move the stalkers I do have to intercept them. Because, again, I have map control right here for the most part. And then here he goes off this thing is fucking sad, and da-da-da-da-da, this, that, and the other. I don't know. I was, yeah. Either way. I lost my first-person vision for the moment. I wonder how you can get that back, honestly. Main panel. Not entirely sure. So I'll just try to pan over as much as I can. Let you see exactly what's going on with my base. Dropping the double forges. Dropping another pylon over here. That gives me enough vision to see all around there. And, of course, at this point, I'm going to work on Blink, because Blink is very nice to have, especially against Protoss or Terran players. And, yeah, I mean, this is where I start to take off. I have 40 harvesters to his 26, so I'm well ahead of him in that regard. and drop, of course, the pylon and get a robo facility here. And then, of course, he's going to call map hacks over and over again. Yeah, okay, kids. I mean, that is the only place. This is the only place that would make any type of sense to move a command center to. Unless he decided to move it down here. But this one would be much quicker. Plus, he could resupply it with the SCVs easier than having to destroy these rocks. Plus, if he took this base, it's more likely that I would come in and try to destroy it. Now, it looks like he is moving in with a couple more Marauders, try to take out my robo facility. Unfortunately, was unable to do so. And then he flies away. So, now I know, yeah, there's going to be drops supposedly throughout my base. So I got to be careful of that at all times. I do have an observer out here to try to scout any type of bases at this point, because I finally was able to build a robo facility. I stayed on the 4 gate for so long, and I got a pretty good army. I'm at 100 supply,